Dr. Brianne Fox, and I help accomplished women to elevate their inner being and optimize their energy so that they can align their inner game with their outer world and truly step into life undefined, but all the things holding them back so they can truly show up as their authentic best self. So I'm glad to see you guys here today. I want to educate you a little bit on why we need to clear ourselves from the past and like how all of that works. Like, what does that even mean? You guys, I have been working one-on-one with clients for almost a decade now, and I want to take the messages that I am saying over and over and over again and pour them into you because I feel like you need to hear them too. So no matter where you're at, I want to give you this information. So hopefully you can sit with it, you can decide what you need to clear yourself and so that you can truly move forward and live your best life. So what the heck does this even mean? What do you mean, B Fox? What do you mean clear the past, right? So when we experience something negative, so whether you're 5, whether you're 18, whether you're 49, whatever age that is, okay? If something negative occurs in your life, a trauma, words, abuse, anything that is perceived as negative, okay? Our bodies and our brains will get busy because you got to wake up the next day and you got to be able to show up to school, you got to be able to play with your friends, you got to go to work, you got to raise your kids, you got to be a wife, be a husband, all the things, right? And so your brain and your body will get busy to store that snapshot of that experience or that moment in which that negative occurrence happened, okay? And so your body and your brain's gonna snapshot that and just tuck it in, okay? Suppress it. We are taught from a super early age that things that are, they don't feel good, to just suppress them, don't worry about them, don't think about them, and they'll just out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, okay? And that's so not true, you guys. Our tissue will hold on to those memories at a cellular level. So counseling is amazing, EMDR is amazing. There's so many outlets out there that can really help us talk and walk through some of that. But the tissue, it's like a tattoo on your tissue at a cellular level that will hold on to that experience. So if, let's say, you're 16, you're playing in a volleyball match, you sprain your ankle, and then a few weeks later you get the message that someone you love dearly has passed away, okay? Cut to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, you're still having these ankle issues and you just don't understand why. Like why it never healed, why it still bothers you to this day, why even just going for a hike you have to be concerned about rolling your ankle and that weakness there, okay? So when we experience that negative thing, our brain and our body are going to take that snapshot, store it in the weakest area of our body at that time. So if you just rolled your ankle a few weeks ago, more than likely that's going to be your weakest area. So that's where that's going to get stored, okay? If you were sexually assaulted, you were traumatized in the pelvic region as that negative experience was happening, that's where it's going to get stored, okay? And it will stay stored, it will stay tattooed in your system, in your tissue, until it's cleared out. Okay, so there are lots of different practitioners out there that work on somato-visceral emotional release, where that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to clear your tissue from that memory. Okay, so we're in essence erasing it, we're rewriting it, we're bringing a different view to it so that your tissue no longer holds on to it. Our brain is super, super, super powerful, and what we ultimately tell ourselves is what we believe. And so you don't necessarily have to relive that negative experience in order to clear it out of your system. And that's what's really cool, you guys, is we can go in there and we can clear through and really get it out of your system. It will always be part of who you are, okay? Because it's something that happened to you. There's an imprint in you, but it doesn't have to be so dark and heavy that it holds you down and weighs you down and holds you back, okay? So us going in and basically erasing it and getting it as light as possible will allow you to unzip, move forward into just being able to live without that holding you down. Okay, so think of a boat anchor. We throw the anchor into the water, the anchor gets hooked to the ground. The boat's gonna move a little bit, it's gonna sway, but the boat can't really move forward, okay, because that anchor's in the ground. So if that negative or negative experiences, whether there's one or many, most of us have layers. I've seen it time and time again, is layer over layer over layer over layer, choice over choice over choice over choice. And a lot of times that is from a trauma that occurred, and especially when we're young, we're in this immature brain, and a lot of times we don't know how to handle our emotions. We're not guided per se in how to deal with the emotions. We're told to suppress them, we're told to basically don't talk about it, and so that's where it gets stored in, and we don't allow that emotion to process through our system and really clear out. So it's important that now, especially as adults, and we're trying to move forward and we feel held back and we don't know why, maybe we don't even remember the situation. I see that a lot where there's clients that think they've had a dream about it, or they've had this kind of just awareness of like, gosh, I think this thing happened to me when I was a kid, but I don't really know. And that's because they've done such a good job of suppressing it. But at the end of the day, it's holding us down. It's like that anchor in the water that is allowing the boat to kind of do some things here, but it's not allowing it to move forward and progress on. So it is very important that we go through, and there's different exercises, there's a different posturing that we can get into, and then of course the energy work to just really get in and clear. So I'm going to give you guys another analogy here. Think of yourself as a river. Okay, so water comes in through the head, down through the body, and out. Okay. Well, what if I take a big boulder and I just plop it in the river? Now that water's got to learn to go around or up and over. It has to reroute, basically. It can't just flow. Or this log gets knocked down in the river and it is blocking it. Maybe it's like a dam, okay? And there is no flow through the system. We have to have motion in our systems. Motion is life, and without motion, we get disease, we get dysfunction. So it's so often that I see there's been an experience or a trauma that somebody's endured, or many that they've endured, and these layers start to add on and add on and add on. So more logs and boulders in the river, and finally the body's like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm done. And then symptoms start to arise. We have disease, we have dysfunction, we feel miserable. So we think, oh, well, if I just don't think about it, and if I don't talk about it, if I don't remember it, I can just move on without it. And that's really not the case. Our body holds on to it. Our brain holds on to it. So it's super important that you get help in some way, whether that's with a counselor, somato-emotional release therapist, energy worker, whatever that is for you, whatever feels good. And there's lots of different tools, lots of different homework type things that you can do to really start clearing this out of your body. One I want to give you today is journaling, basically, but it's taking pen to paper, you guys. It is super important. It gets us into a certain wave in our brain. Pen to paper, you're just going to start writing. Like, what is holding me back might be the topic at the top of the paper, and then I just want you to start writing. Just start writing. Now, that's conscious brain, dump, 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 dump. But when you get to that point where the pen stops and you're like, I don't know what else to write, I want you to keep writing, even if it's your name or Dr. B. Fox told me to, or whatever that is, okay? Keep the pen moving, and then all of a sudden your subconscious will kick in, and that is where the magic happens. That's where you will start to unlock some of the things that, whoa, I forgot about that, or I didn't even think that I like that mattered anymore. I didn't think that I was holding on to that. I thought I had let go of that or forgiven that person, and it's clearly still stored. Again, brain and body working a little bit different in the sense of that body tissue is going to hold on to that like a tattoo. So we want to go through and clear that out, okay? So the journaling piece can be really, really helpful. And it's for a season, right? It's not that you have to journal every night for the rest of your life. You can. There's some power in that. But right now, if you feel like you are being held back and you know there's some things from your past that might be what's holding you back, then take that pen to paper, my friend. You also can check out some of my programs. I do a lot of energy work in my coaching, which is so wonderful to help people clear those blocks and really be able to step into their best version of themselves, unlocking that inner game, allowing it to match their outer world, and just really moving forward into the life they deserve. And they're living undefined by the trials, the trauma, the tribulations, all the things. So just want to give you guys that for today. Take that pen to paper and check me out at drbfoxco.com. I would love to see you around. Take care.